Hey, Jesse.
Hey girl.
Listen, it's been an awesome morning so far, and I don't know, it's just been really, really good.
It's really good. I absolutely love it. And what we're going into next is our talent portion, which girl, is like my favorite portion, one of my favorite portions,
I
I should
know,
say,
I
of our
know.
show. It is so good. And we have our awesome guest here. So let me tell you guys a little bit about him because he's really, really cool. So, if you guys don't know, if you guys are new joining in, just listening, a little bit about our talent portion. This is where we discover, reveal, and apply lessons that we learn from talent. And today we have recording artist and Juno Award nominee KAnthony. So, a little bit about the Juno Awards is that well, it all started as the RPM Goldleaf Awards in 1964 by RPM editor and publisher Walt Grelis and record label executive Stan Cleese. Soon became the Juno Awards in 1971. Named in tribute to Pierre Juno, the first chairperson of the Canadian Radio, Television and Telecommunications Commissions, CRTC, the Juno Awards were founded to raise the public profile and recognition of musical artists in Canada. The Juno Awards have evolved from an industry awards event to a weekly long festival that travels city to city across the country. It encompasses both public facing fans events and industry networking opportunities featuring a diverse array of Canadian artists and emerging talent. In addition to the Juno Awards broadcast, Juno Week event programming includes Juno Songwriters Circle, Juno Fest, Juno Fanfare, Juno Cup, and you can learn more about that at junoowards.ca. Now, our awesome, awesome guest today is KAnthony, who has been nominated for the Juno Awards for contemporary, Christian or Gospel Album of the Year for the album titled The Cure. KAnthony is also the first native of Jamaica to be nominated for this award, and it's so exciting for Jamaica to have the very first native of Jamaica to be nominated for this prestigious award. Also, KAnthony released a new song titled Free on February 12, 2021, which has been doing amazing. This melody reaches your heart and brings you a sense of inner peace. KAnthony's music has been such an inspiration to many people. It's that kind of music that gives you goosebumps as the words resonate with you. And we want to say first, thank you so much for coming on our show, KAnthony. It's such an honor to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, we really, really are excited to have you this week, and we're looking forward to this awesome interview. So, tell us a little bit about your roots and tell us who is KAnthony.
Okay, Anthony. Um, I was born in Montego Bay, Jamaica. I grew up in Falmouth, Trelawney. Um, my parents, Beverly and Rallin Fowler. I have only one sibling, and his name is David. He studied mass communication. I ended up studying music. I went to, at first, my first love was track and field. Many persons don't necessarily know that. Um, However, my mom didn't think that I was going to be able to focus. As a result of that, I went to a private institution called Harrison Memorial High in Montego Bay. After I graduated, I had the intention of becoming a agronomist, something that have to do with agricultural science and soil testing. However, since they weren't accepting anyone at the time, my mom asked if I've ever thought of studying music, at least doing it for a year. So that's how I ended up at Northern Caribbean University, where I studied music and I also did a degree in communication. Um, I love to travel. I love experiencing new things. I love being in the studio. It's probably one of my favorite things to do is to be in the studio with like mind people writing, and yeah, I love to have a good time, but I'm also a bit reserved at time. Um, yeah, so that's a little bit about me. I after Northern Caribbean University, I was signed from early. That's something that many people don't know. I was signed to a label at the time called Message Music while attending Northern Caribbean University. Did my first tour with a group called Caris. Um, outside of representing the university inquiries, I did my first tour in 2006, and after that, that didn't go so well. I started managing on my own career from then on, which took me some time to understand the business aspect of it. At that time, I became a teacher. So I taught music both at my alma mater, Extension Campus Studies, and also at a high school called McGrath High School in St. Catherine. So I ended up in teaching how, I don't know, but I was successful at it. I In 2011, the runner-up song that was sung in the JCDC adult competition when it comes to gospel was written by myself, and the person was actually my student. Yeah, I know I probably sound old, but I'm not that old. But that person was my student, and I developed a more passion for writing um, from early, and that I would say motivated me to even push more into writing. I ended up working with a producer in Jamaica by the name of Dwayne Wire Campbell, a phenomenal guy, and I started building from there, from the what was left off, from the fact that I was signed early, and I had to come out of that contract, and have been working ever since.
Awesome, awesome. You spoke about being an indie artist. What's the difference between, or what are the differences you have found between being an indie artist and an artist that's signed to a label?
An indie artist has more control, have more control out of in terms of release dates, who they want to work with. Whenever you're signed to a particular label, you have some level of control, but not a lot. Um, they will be able to dictate to you when you released, who you work with, um, and stuff like that. So that's one of the main things. One of the main things, being an independent artist in comparison to being signed to a label. You don't have the first say. Your say might matter depending on who you're signed with. However, their idea of what they see of you or where they want to get you comes first.
Awesome. Just checking my messages here. So we have a message from our audience. What are the lessons that you've learned between teaching music and actually being an artist?
Well, that's hard to say. I was first an artist, I would say, before even becoming a teacher, because even before leaving university, I I was deeply involved in music. I would record almost I would leave from here in Jamaica called Mandeville, Manchester, to Kingston area, specifically Portmore, to record almost every other Wednesday or almost every Wednesday. That was how I got signed, because I was actually renting the facility.
Okay.
So what I've learned is pretty much, I've learned to persevere. I've learned to bounce back from the hard times. Some stuff I just won't get into because um I've forgiven whomever was a part of certain situation that I had early in my career. But I've learned that you need to understand the business of music. I have to understand the business of music. I studied music. So it would be very bad of me not to want to understand the mere fact that I'm investing in the talent that God has given me. How can I recoup? So I've learned to persevere. I've learned to pray hard. People see, so people will see you and have perceptions. So they will think that life is perfect. And the reality of it is they don't know how much hard work you have to put into it.
Mhm.
Um, so one, you have to know what God has given you, what God has laid on your heart. And in so understanding, you have to then say, how am I going to get this done? Now, the best thing you could ever do for yourself is to consult whom gave you the purpose.
Mhm.
And so I had a lot of fights with God while being in university. I would cry. I would say, why is this not working out? Why is this not? People don't even understand. So this interview is a very good one for me, so people can probably get a little bit more insight into who I am as a person. Because people have a perception of who they think I am. One, because I was involved in modeling, I was involved in fashion, but they don't know my passion for soul winning, my passion for bringing a message of hope to people, a passion for letting people know who's my God.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I believe, Jesse, you have some questions for him as well.
Yeah, we do have some questions coming up. I do have one question slash comment, talking about your passion for God. For our listeners who are listening and not viewing right now, you have a Jesus over COVID sweatshirt on. Can you tell us? It's really good. The COVID part is scratched out, guys, in red. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Or I don't know, like what made you buy it? It's cool. It's a cool shirt,
I
guys.
actually didn't buy it, you know. I haven't been doing so well, so you guys need to pray for me. So actually, this merch was sent to me to do
Mhm.
a shoot. So it's funny, when I came in here, I saw it and I said, you know what?
It's
I'm
very
gonna put
good.
it on.
Yeah.
But I'm actually supposed to do a shoot in this, probably exactly how you see me look at this point in time. And I haven't been able to get to it yet, but I'll hopefully next week so I can get off the photos to this company that wanted me to do some merch for them.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Okay, we have a couple more questions. So one is, what influences the lyrics of your song? What do you want your listeners to experience when they listen to your music?
Truth, transparency. Um, uh, Probably that's why I don't talk too much sometimes because I'm very transparent and I will say it as how it comes. Um, the Christian walk isn't the easiest of walk. However, if we submit, it makes it easier. And a lot of times, the issues that we face, the challenges that we go through, is as a result of not submitting early to God's. Sometimes God will give you a little thing that He's saying, "Hey, I need to get your attention here."
Hmm.
Sometimes we take long to fall into that path. So I want young Christians and young people and people in general to develop a true passion and a true love for Christ. Have a real relationship, a genuine relationship, like how we are conversing at this point
Yep.
in time. Understanding that God is real and it's not a figment of your imagination. Um, and I think if we develop that relationship, the more that relationship grows, we'll tend to have this respect for Him where we'll be reverent in His presence and understand that He's an awesome God. So it all boils on for me in our Christian walk as in developing a relationship with Christ. Um, I want young people to know that if you fall, you can rise above that hurdle. I have fell many times in my life, but the good thing is that I have accepted God's mercy and moved forward instead of staying in the same position. Um, I want young people to know and people in general to know that the best decision they could have made is to accept Christ.
Awesome.
That's beautiful.
Awesome. We do
So
have another
talented.
listener question. Well, a listener comment first. True, he is real, not mystical, not a fantasy, but very real. And then we have another listener question says, how old is he?
Well, that's going to be one that I'm not going to share. I don't hide it because it's there if they want to find out, but they can find out.
All
Just
right.
Google, guys. Simple Google.
Yeah, go ahead, Jesse.
Okay, so we have another question that says, how intentional do you have to be to achieve your success? Um, and what are some things that people may not understand to dive a little bit more deeper into the business of music versus business as other businesses? I don't know, let's say retail, them starting their own business or something like that.
How intentional. One, you have to
Mhm.
know if it's this is what God has set out for you to do, else you'll be kicking against a stone.
Mhm.
From early, I had a should I tell them this? So from early, I had a plan for my own, should I say career or ministry? Actually, I saw it beyond where I'm from. And people might say, you probably think that you're better than, I don't think I'm better than anyone at all. However, I grew up listening to different certain genres. I was never more inclined to my genre within my country. That's always what was interesting. And so when I started doing music, because at that point in time when I was interested in music, I didn't think of doing music professionally. As I said, the way I got into music was as a result of not being able to attend that particular university and starting out doing planning to do 1 year of university studying music and then switch to the other university. Um, I want to make sure I'm answering your question.
Mhm. No problem.
Can you repeat so I can make sure that
Okay.
what I'm gonna
Yep.
give you is right?
Yep. So the question was, how intentional do
Intentional.
you
Yeah.
have to be to achieve your success?
Yes. So you have to be a strategist, very strategic. I studied the market of music from early, meaning I would make observation of different artists that I'm interested in. Look at their approach. I have tons and tons of connection that I've built over the years, which would blow people away. That I built my own connection list in various countries. Um, so you have to be very strategic in doing music. I believe you should be a student of the word. You should spend a lot of time studying because if it's like what is filling this man, what is filling this vessel, whatever is filling the vessel is what is going to be poured out. So if nothing has been poured into the vessel, nothing good will come out of it.
Yep.
Or if you're feeding your mind on things that you shouldn't be, what what you're pouring out won't be as potent. Hopefully I'm making sense. And
May
so
I,
if you're spending time studying the word or having conversation about your love relationship with Christ, it will be able to be seen. And that has to be intentional. You have to be intentional in spending time with God so that whatever you're presenting to the world is that.
yeah.
Okay.
May I ask a question? I'm the DJ. I'm DJ Kelly. And as I'm listening to you speak, yes, and I'm watching the process you're going through to even answer the questions. It's very intentional. And so I'd like to, if the host will allow me, just to add an addendum to that question.
Yes.
I like that you're saying, you have to be a student of the word to really represent God through music, especially in an industry. The music is an industry that it's very influential, right? And it also is greatly influenced, right? Oftentimes I see ministers or persons who are artists saying they're gospel artists. Yes. And I don't know how intentional they are or how seriously they take that call, because I think sometimes when we do work, quote unquote, for God, we just do whatever we can. If I go to work for the man, I have to go study for years, get a degree,
Yeah.
and then I come out and then I get a job and I go through orientation and I go and I invest in getting the right clothes to wear to work. And this is me working for the man.
Mm-hmm.
But do we do that when we're working for God? How intentional are we? I'll say this. I've looked at your Instagram account and I saw intention. I don't know if that's what you intended us to see, but I saw intention. I see you being very intentional about how you position yourself as an artist, right? And that's one of the reasons I do what I do. I went to NCU too. I'm very proud of it. I did media too. And so one of the things that we I am very my call is I'm a divine purpose investor, and I believe that God has called us at a time like this to work with faith-based persons to position their ministry to stand up against the world's ministry, because it's a ministry they're doing too, right? They're very intentional with it, and they're very they fund it, and they're intentional and they work it, right? I'm getting to the question, but I feel sometimes, like when I hear, sometimes we've had persons we say, okay, come, let's do an interview. And they're all over the place. And I don't know how seriously we take it when we walk out and say, I'm a gospel artist. What does that mean to you? Is it any different from if you say, oh, I'm a country music artist, or I'm a this artist, or I'm a songwriter? Is there a difference when you say, I am a kingdom champion, I come with a ministry for God? Does that influence your decisions, the way you represent yourself, the way you represent your music, the investment, the intention? And if it does, then maybe you could speak to the person who does have a gift but is not taking it as intentional. I love that you said that God is real, He's not some mystical fantasy. He's absolutely real. So that's my question.
Thanks. Okay. So I appreciate your comment and your kind words. I'm very, very intentional about every single thing I do, especially when it comes to my music. Nothing is by accident that I put out when I put it out. Mm-hmm. What I'm putting out, none of it comes by accident. We all know the story of the talent. Now, I'm undeserving of even trying to represent God in any way.
Grace.
That's the reality of it. Yeah. However, His mercy and His grace is why I even do this. Because He thinks with His covering, I'm worthy. I could give you many stories why I decided, because I didn't have to. We have a choice, and there were points in time when I thought of doing something else. But each time I tried to think of doing something else, it's almost like something was lost inside of me. So this is you guys are getting some stories that probably a lot of people have not gotten. So this is how intentional I am. I would work 3 jobs to make sure that the quality of what I put out represents God first and myself after. Some of it was good because after a while you do get tired. As I said, first you have to know as a person, is this what God desires of you? Because sometimes we do things thinking that this is what God wants for our lives, and this is not what He wants. Now, since He has given you this talent, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to nurture it? I decided, outside of the fact that I went to university, to do some more work outside of that, because I wanted to build what He has given to me. So it doesn't come easy. So you have to work. So I'd go to this voice class here. I would partner with different persons to improve on my writing. We cannot do it we cannot be working for God and just do it in any way. You're representing the King of Kings. And I'm not just saying that. If we're going to do it, we have to do it to not the best of your ability, means that you're going to invest the time and the effort and the energy into it. The best version of who you, it's a cliche thing, but this is a reality. You're supposed to give the best version of yourself. And the best version of yourself is simply working to the best of your ability, acquiring all the possible knowledge that you can acquire to build what God has given to you. And that is how the story of the talent really reveals itself, in the sense that talent was given. What have you add to it? What have you done with it? Did you go out and search for more knowledge and then build on top of that, or did you just say, "Oh, it's not enough"? I'm not the best vocalist. I knew this from the get-go. I'm not the most handsome person, so I present myself well. And something I learned early is to partner with people who have something that complements what I have, and who is interested to build what I have so I can present it to the world. Not sure if I answered your question. Hopefully I did. But being intentional is not just saying you're intentional. Intentional meaning you understand your purpose. You're working in your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And it might not happen overnight, because I shed a little tiny bit of tear when I was nominated. Because I've been doing this for a while and I've never been nominated for nothing. I'm not doing it for nomination, but people will say they're having the award show, and as a human, I'm being, as I said, I'm being transparent. As a human being, you'll feel like you're not appreciated or what you're doing. There's a little noise that will come at times. That's the reality. But I honestly learned how to push away that noise and work hard. I work very, very hard, and that's something that I thank God for. To instill, my parents instilled that in me, and what I've acquired is more salvific, is perseverance. I've learned to persevere. That times won't be easy. However, how much are you going to rely on God? I had sleepless nights, cry all the time by myself, because I think this is not working as how I wanted. But what I've learned is sometimes we pray for things not realizing that we are not prepared for it. Before you pray and ask of God to open or enlarge your territory, you need to make sure that you're prepared for that.
Please repeat that. You know, one of the things I just learned is when I'm learning is that I don't know if it's a case where we're not taught to manage abundance. We pray for it, we ask for it, we're dying for it, but sometimes we can't even see it, nor do we understand how to handle it.
Yeah.
I've had the experience of hearing people say, I want money, 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 and then you make the money. Now, here it is. What's next? Because there's an abundance that comes. How do you manage that abundance? How do you become that caretaker that increases that abundance that God has given you through His grace, so that others can be blessed by it? How have you learned to be that kind of custodian over what God has blessed you with, so that it can bless others?
While I'm working, God has revealed my intent and who I am as a person. Mm-hmm. And if I'm honest, which I should be, or which anyone should be, then I turn to God and I say, hey, my intent is not all right. And I thank you for revealing that to me. I need your help to make sure that my intention is right. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yes, definitely.
Because sometimes we are doing something and we there's a part. You have to be honest. There's a part of you that want acclamations, want to win this, but then so God will reveal who you are. Mm-hmm. No, you need to accept it and then say, okay, I see what you're saying. You're not prepared. You're not ready. That's what I'm telling you. And I want you to be ready. I want you to realize that that's a weakness that you have and you need to grow past this. So I'm revealing it to you. And I'm not giving this. You see, we have to be with God like He's a parent. But He's not a parent. He's the best parent. He's not going to give you a gift that you're not ready for. If He gave you the gift, that means there is enough for you to hold on to. To not falter, to not allow the gift to allow you to falter.
Mm-hmm. Well said.
Just for our listeners that just came, when you said that, it instantly, a good image is that a parent's not going to give a 9-year-old keys to the car to drive.
No matter how if it's a smart parent.
If it's a smart parent. Exactly. A smart parent is not going to do that. They're going to wait till they're age appropriate to start to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
All right.
Understanding. You see, there's many things. We have the information. We sometimes don't get the understanding at the same time, but sometimes we don't get the gift of how to apply the information. And if you're not able to apply that information, God is not going to move you.
Yeah.
That's true. May I ask a question? What advice would you give to young artists, upcoming artists, based on all of your experience about the ministry, the industry, and the artistry of music?
Learn to separate them, but yet still be able to combine them all. As I said, for me, I've invested so much money in music. I thank God for the wife that He gave me. I've invested so much money in music. It will blow your mind, but it's because I had a dream. I had a dream from early. What I would tell any young artist is, I go back to the same thing. You need to know that this is what God intended for you. Sometimes we ourselves birth some ideas that is not what God intends. Because it looks good. It looks good. I know a few artists that people see on TV. It looks good, but it's not all gold. It's not. It's the truth. If some people would tell you, they would tell you that it's the truth. So they need to really invest in your talent. If you think this is what God has chosen you to do, you need to invest in your talent. Um, especially
What does
before,
what does when
especially
you say invest in your talent? What does that look like?
okay. And thanks you for allowing me to so I could express it better. Um, everything takes stages. So but you want to work with people who brings quality. Because the
Mm,
reality of it is, if someone present me with, say, if somebody should contact me now and say, "Hey, I want to do a song with you," I'm your presentation is gonna be. I have a very high standard for my own self. So
mm,
people might think I'm cocky because I might say no. No, no, no. If they only knew me as a person, it's only now that I've learned to be more mature and handle it better. But I have such a hard time beating up my own self. If someone send me a product that's not where my ears are mine set is, I'm gonna nice to say at this point in time, no. So you have to build yourself. Build yourself in terms of working at the right people, trying to pull together a team of people around you that believe in what you have. Because if you're the only one that believe in what you have, sometimes there's a concern because you're probably hearing something different. Sometimes your mother shouldn't be your biggest support in a sense that saying, oh yes, everything she says is good. Always be a student of your job, of your gift, of your ministry. Be a student, be open to learn, and learn fast. Try to work. If in building yourself, you probably need to think, how am I going to acquire the money to invest back into the gift or into what God has given me to present to people? So that's something that you have to think about. Because in working with someone who brings quality, it's going to cost because they pay for their time of learning, etc., etc. And as a result of that, it's gonna cost more than the average Joe. You might go and knock up a guy and say, "Hey, I want to do production with you." It's different. Um, I'm, put yourself out there. But put yourself out there well, dressed well. Um, just try and represent yourself and God well, and whenever you step out to say, "I'm doing this," because believe it or not, you're competing. Right? There's no two way. You're competing in many fashion, in many ways of that word express. Young people are drawn to certain styles and so forth. And I'm not saying you should water down nothing that you're doing. I'm just saying that you have to bring quality because you're already at a disadvantage if you're not. So you have to say, okay, how am I gonna get my music to sound like it can be really listened to? So I think that is important. But as I said over and over, know for sure this is what God intended for your life because it's not a bed of roses.
thank you so much for that. Jesse, I'm not sure if you have any more questions.
See, we have one more is who do you admire in the music industry and what's your motivation?
I admire quite a few people. Um, I love old music, so it's hard. I love some new stuff, but I like probably gonna shock you. I really like Otis Redding. I like
Oh,
song that
Otis
is
Redding.
raspy and
Yeah.
raw.
Mm-hmm.
So I love those. And I'm not just saying it. There's something about those voices that I really,
Yep.
really like. And as a
Mm-hmm.
result of that, there's someone now that I like because of that. Al Green, Sam Cooke,
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
John Legend, and someone who people think that I have some things in common, which not necessarily somewhat. Not probably no, but before when it just came out, Mali Music.
mm-hmm.
I love. I grew up listening to a lot of Fred Hammond, and also doing. I was in an a cappella group, so I love that also. Um, and currently, Dante Bowie and Chandler Moore. I like that because they have a raw sound that I like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, pretty much that. But I listen to everything. I don't necessarily sit down and admire any one artist. It doesn't matter who it is. I look at what's negative about them and what's the positive, and I say, interesting. And I will say, okay, I would love to be able to do that. I will be able to write, why did he say this? Or why did he do that? So I will look at those things and probably add them to my arsenal, if you want to call it that.
Understood. Understood. Well, you know what? We salute you and we support you as a recording artist, and not just a regular recording artist, but one that does it for the kingdom. KAnthony, thank you so much for being with us here on Weekends with Marsha J and Jesse. And we do look forward to, and congratulations on your new single, by the way.
Yes.
Yes, free. I've watched the video and it's definitely going to be a part of my DJ Top 5. That's a competition we have going on that's coming up right after this, guys. So do not go anywhere. Do not go anywhere. But thank you so much for gracing us with your presence today and for the words of wisdom that you shared. And I'm sure that, you know, all persons who are interested in music on a whole can definitely glean from what it is that you have said and shared, and will definitely take them to heart. Thank you so much and have a great day, a great rest of the day.
I want to take the time to thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure. I never take this for granted. And I'm very appreciative of the fact that you given me this platform to talk. I appreciate you guys.
You're very welcome.